did open it on the Dangerous Woman tour. Yeah.
Was that cool?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really crazy because at the time I didn't have a team. So I had no label, no manager, no hairstylist, makeup artist. Like I was back there just like, okay, we're
doing
gonna
it
ride this out.
yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was really awesome. We did Madison Square Garden, which was a really exciting show, but it was just me on stage before her. So like dancers, no band. So I'm just like, what a crazy experience.
Were you nervous?
Oh my God, shitting myself. Literally like, wow.
So how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Just lots of things going on right now in life. So excited.
Somebody who works at Sony was really excited you were here, and they were like, Victoria Monét, for me, like I listened to her album through the whole pandemic.
Yeah.
And it represents this like time in my life, and I'm so excited for like the next chapter.
Aww.
So I feel, people are really looking forward to it.
It means a lot because I debated putting it out in 2020 because the world was going through so much, and I was talking about sex and like my sexuality and all of these themes that I felt like I questioned if the world wanted to hear at the time, but it turned out that they wanted to not talk about what the world was going through and just kind of use it as escapism.
Totally. Well, you just mentioned your sexuality, and I know you have a baby girl. We were just talking that you had in the pandemic.
Yes.
And her and my son are a month apart. So what has happened in your life, like from the evolution of, where you were at when you put out Jaguar 1 to now?
I think even physically a lot is different. My voice changed, which is something that I had to get used to. Usually my voice is a bit more high pitched and even softer. And then having Hazel, it was like, whoa.
So your voice changed postpartum?
Yes, even during pregnancy. Like recording during pregnancy, there was times where I had to be upside down. Like my breathing was strange. So I was like recording with the mic between my legs.
That makes sense when they start to weigh on your diaphragm. And,
Yes. So it's just been very interesting to navigate body-wise, and then coming back mentally from postpartum, just all the things that happen to women as we go through this process.
No one prepares you because what happens to you is so specific.
Individual,
like I didn't even know that your voice could change. That's, I'm sure, must have been so scary as a singer.
I'm like, what is it going to sound like?
Who am I going to be?
Literally.
So you struggled with postpartum.
I did.
What was that like for you?
I want to say that it might have been a little bit harder than what postpartum would have been had there not been a pandemic.
Right.
Because I'm not only thinking about the hormones and everything that's happening, but also literally the safety of my baby. And during pregnancy, I'm sure you experience the same thing. When you go to appointments and things, you have to go alone and like maybe FaceTime people in because they were like, only one person, you have to wear a mask. So some of the experiences that I would have shared with family and with people, I endured alone. So it felt kind of even more isolating than I think it normally would have felt. Yeah. I think I'm excited to see the difference with a second pregnancy down the line. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was like, wait, is this an announcement?
No.
Okay.
No, like we got lots of time.
Yeah.
But I just want to know what it would be like to have a baby. I didn't have a baby shower.
And what about after you gave birth? Like, what was that experience? Because I had a moment where I had I remember having a day, and it was actually about, I was explaining this to my friend who has never had a baby before. I was like, the thing that's so hard is you just feel like you'll never be the same person you were.
Yeah, you're mourning the death of your old self in a way.
Yes, and it's really scary. It was one of the things that was hard for me about breastfeeding and stuff was that I felt like I was never going to get my body back, that there was not like back to what it was, but just
yours.
To me. Yeah, and I was trying to work on stuff too. After postpartum, I was finishing a book I was writing, and my brain wasn't working the same way. And I remember having this moment of just like, I'm dead. Like I've lost myself.
Yes.
And my whole life is just about being a mom now. And I was so sad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can relate to this, but if you were seeing a lot of people, but in the last months of pregnancy, even when people greet you, they go straight to the belly. Like you're not even there. They're like, oh my God, it's like a magnet. And same thing kind of happens when you give birth. It's like people acknowledge baby first. And then they're like, oh yeah, but how are you? Kind of secondary, which it's like a learning curve. And I relate to the fact that you said your brain wasn't working the same. I felt that way in the studio. It's like, I don't feel talented anymore.
I hate that.
It was great. It's such a process, and you really have to talk yourself through it. And it's hard to take even advice from your spouse because you're like, but you
Don't know.
You just had a good time, man.
Yeah.
And now I'm, the one going through all of the changes. So, but it ends up being like the most really happy, but also really sad time at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to feel that spectrum of feelings. Like, why am I crying when I love my baby? I'm so happy,
It's so crazy. The hormones, it's really like
They
you're
do
on
their
drugs.
thing.
You're on
Truly.
drugs. You have to just accept that. And then once you do, you're like, right,
Oh,
so I'm
okay.
not here. Like this is, I'm taking highs and lows of a trip,
Yes,
basically, that my
exactly.
body's on.
Right.
And I just have to ride it. And it's mental.
Right.
Which is so scary. It's so hard. And I always talk about it because I like want people to feel more prepared. But again, it is hard to prepare them.
Yeah. I mean, I think the more we talk about it, the better.
Yeah.
Just even for us, because it's just like something that you really don't get over. I feel like when I'm old, I'm be like reminding Hazel, like, well, I gave birth to you. Like,
my God.
Just that feeling. So I think it's nice for us to be able to talk about it together. And the best community that I found after pregnancy was people who also did it.
So you have like a mom crew?
I have a group chat.
Nice, me too.
Yes,
Moms.
five of my cousins were pregnant at the same time.
No
we were getting
way.
busy in the pandemic.
I mean, it was a good time to have a baby. I'm not
why
gonna lie.
Yeah, the world kind of paused for.
I didn't feel like I was missing things.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What was it like working on this? I mean, you've been songwriting since you were a teenager, basically.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's been a long time. It's been really cool. I've definitely gone through lots of iterations of my style, but in ways that I still write the same way that I did with my very first song. There was like lots of harmonies and stuff, and I still do that. So it's cool to be able to like have that documented and listen back and be like, oh, you're still the same person,
Right.
even though. Because sometimes if you don't write it down or if you don't take the picture, some of the things that you've experienced, you actually forget.
Right.
So
especially creatively, the evolution, you need to look at your old work and be able to reflect on it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know that it's been a while that you've been, doing your thing, but what was it like transitioning from songwriter to being the star?
You know what? It's really interesting because I always was writing my own music. I feel like I ended up dedicating a lot more time to songwriting because it was becoming more successful and it was a way of living.
Paying the bills, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just been interesting kind of reintroducing myself to people as an artist because I think sometimes when you introduce yourself to someone as one thing, it's hard for them to forget about that thing and see you in any other way. So it's like I got titled this person's songwriter, like, and it, like even in interviews or just fans, they're like, oh yeah, but you're this person's songwriter, and that's all that they could see. So now I'm just kind of turning a new leaf.
I also have to just say that I feel like there are so many pop stars and musicians that you're introduced to that feel manufactured by the studios and they don't write their own songs. So I think it's actually really beautiful and super appealing to know that you're the person behind all these songs that you love.
Thank you.
And then get a sense of that. So I wonder if that's true. Like, is there a positive aspect to it?
Definitely. I feel the same. Like when I listen to SZA's music, I'm like, oh yeah, because it kind of gives me a little bit more insight, or I feel like it gives me more insight into what she's actually going through because it's something that came from her brain and she wrote. Not to say that when people write for other people, it's not a collaboration between what the artist is actually going through and what the songwriter portrays their life to be. But it's just really cool to know that it's coming firsthand.
It makes you feel so close to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But I think some of my favorite artists are artists who write for other people and themselves. Like I think about Missy, like she had a whole style with Aaliyah, but she had her own thing with her project. Or even like Smokey Robinson.
Oh my God. I love Smokey Robinson.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I found out he had a TikTok, I was like, yes.
Wait, what?
He has a TikTok, girl.
I did not know that.
Yes, it's really.
How old is that
It's
man?
lovely. I don't know, but he's working that phone. He knows what's up.
Is he making good TikToks?
They're good. They're very interesting TikToks.
Like,
He's kind of talking to camera and like telling stories and stuff. So.
My producer just told me he's 83 years old.
83.
So damn. But he's handsome in a
cool.
way that kind of, you wouldn't know
Still
that he's
there.
83. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. He's got that like jawline and
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey Robinson. Yeah, he's an amazing songwriter, obviously.
Yes.
But it's true. SZA's such a good example. And I feel like it connects. I mean, it's a weird thing to talk about your personal life and your music because you obviously you know, are letting people in. And I know you've done that a decent amount. Like you mentioned talking about your sexuality.
Yes.
What was that like? What made you want to write songs about that and even talk about it publicly, like on Twitter and everything else?
I literally, it was my coming out on Twitter was a rebuttal to an ex-boyfriend that was trying to say that we were still together. And I was kind of dating a woman, and I was like, and by the way, we are not together. And I just said it. And then when I tweeted, I was like, oh, did I?
You're like, I just came out. Oh my
and the
God.
responses was really what validated that I came out. I was like, oh shit, I sure did. Because it's something that I've known for a long time. So I kind of didn't prepare a statement or anything. It was kind of like me arguing online.
Right.
You know,
was that nice or was it weird?
I actually liked it. I feel like it was freeing. I kind of like could exhale. I was like, oh.
And you didn't have to have this big buildup of what am I going to say? How am I going to come out? It just happened.
Yes. And also like in songwriting, I stopped using pronouns that weren't accurate, because even though I would write songs about a woman before, I would be like, he, because it was like what I was expected to be attracted to. So it was just really freeing and like opened up another window of creativity where I could just, you know, say whatever I actually feel and be true.
What's the process like writing for yourself versus writing for someone else?
It used to be kind of one and the same because the artist wasn't in the room. So I was just writing things and then shooting out to labels, and they would send a thing called a who's looking list. And so it'd be like, this person's looking for an album. And they'd have the description of a random, like, mix this pop song with this country song. And this is what we're trying to do. Eventually, I ended up being in the room with artists. So it's very clear, like, this is for you. This is your session. I'm here for you to write whatever you want. You know, just share with me what you're going through and I'll turn it into a song. It was kind of like an exchange and more, it kind of felt therapeutic for me and for the artist. And then going into my sound, I feel like it's very clear. I'm in the studio in my own headspace. No one's there to tell me, no, don't say this. Yes, don't say that. I like that. I don't. Just going with the flow of what I actually feel and I'm going through, trying to create my own universe of sounds and sonics with the people that I really love to work with. One of my favorite producers is D-Mile. He's executive producing the project with me. Cool. Yeah, so it was a good time.
Kelly Rowland was on the show like a couple weeks ago, and she shouted you out as one of her
my
favorite artists that she's listening to.
I love her so much. Even in Pregnancy Journey, her son, her second son is exactly 1 month apart from my daughter. So she was just very helpful, like just giving advice because she had a son before, just helping me through the mental process and like tips and tricks and everything.
The tips and the tricks. Just even knowing that you can have somebody to text.
Kelly,
and
I would have never thought in a million years. My teenage self, I'm texting Kelly, what do you mean? It's really amazing.
She's such a lovely person. Like she did the podcast and then I ran into her at a party. And you know, sometimes when you work with somebody, you don't know how they're going to then act when you see them.
It can be
and
funny.
And she was so warm. She was like, oh my God, hey girl. Like talked with me and like met my friends. We were like talking for 15 minutes. Like it was so, she's just genuinely that way.
Southern girl.
I know. I also saw Beyonce this weekend. So I'm all about the Southern women right now.
How did you like the show?
What do you think?
I know. Did you die?
I died, girl. I died. I died and went to heaven. I wasn't ready for it. And so have you seen it?
I've been trying to, like, as much as I can to avoid videos, trying not to see clips because I'm going on her birthday. I'm going to her birthday show in
Virgo.
September, September 4th in LA. I was like, obviously I should go.
I will say she switches it up. She switches up her outfits and stuff.
I'm hoping that she brings Blue to that show. I'm like, I hope Blue hasn't started school or something.
No, I'm sure she'll be there because I feel like Paris, New York, like they're doing the bigger thing. Yeah. She came out and I was so touched by that. I was so touched. It was beautiful. And just feeling this community of the dancers around her and how much they loved her. It was just so beautiful.
It's really cool. It's like a nice passing of the torch. And she's been open enough with her life that we've just seen Blue grow up. And it's just like so crazy to see her on stage. We're just as proud.
Yes.
Like,
it feels like a shared moment.
Yes.
It's also so cute when she's like, hey, Miss Carter. I was like, oh my God, Blue Ivy. So are there artists that you really want to work with that you haven't worked with?
Beyonce.
I was going there.
Yes. Well, Beyonce, Kelly. I really do want to work with Sade. Don't know how to make that
My
happen.
son loves Sade. He says,
Taste.
I love Sade. That's what he says.
Oh my God.
No, I'm really proud. It's like the proudest thing.
Literally. And for a boy. Yes. I love
Well, he
this.
doesn't know. He's not embarrassed yet. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, Sade. I mean, what a queen.
I know. I was just looking through the hashtag because I guess I follow the hashtag Sade I do. And she came up today and there was just like interviews of her just being so gracious and beautiful, like her deep toned talking voice. And
yes.
Just I
gracious
love her.
is a good word.
Yeah.
You have that energy about you.
Thank you.
Who have been some of your favorite artists you've worked with?
I really do like all of them.
Okay.
I think I only had one asshole experience.
Okay.
I won't name, but it was a rapper.
Okay.
And they weren't really an asshole to me. Just like I saw the like being mean to the engineer and just like the entitlement and some of that stuff. So I try to avoid those types of energies. And I feel like I've been pretty successful. Everyone is so nice and like and grateful and like supportive. I know working with Ariana, she was just putting my names in places she didn't have to.
You were opening for her too, right?
I did open it on the Dangerous Woman tour. Yeah.
That cool?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really crazy because at the time I didn't have a team. So I had no label, no manager, no hairstylist, makeup artist. Like I was back there just like, okay, we're
doing
gonna
it
ride this out.
yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God, good for you.
Yeah. It was really awesome. We did Madison Square Garden, which was a really exciting show, but it was just me on stage before her. So like dancers, no band. So I'm just like, what a crazy experience. And I hope the next time it's just like,
I need to look up that video. That must have been, were you nervous?
oh my God, shitting myself. Literally like, wow.
Like your face is so big on the screen.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, my eyelashes look good.
Like, I sure hope I nail it this time.
Damn.
Makeup, hair. So it's just really cool to have the opportunity to like convince people that they should ride with me on this journey and like just follow along.
You're like, now I have a makeup artist. Now
Yes,
I have a production.
I sure do.
You're like, they're a little
growth.
different, but that's
Yes.
beautiful to have people, watch that journey for you.
Yes. I also I feel like I appreciate each person's position and job now because I did a little bit of it. So I'm like, thankful.
Yeah, I'm sure you're a dream to work with because you're like, I've been on the other side.
Yeah.
That really helps.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to Beyonce because I know you mentioned her.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
in 2018, you tweeted, last night was my first attempt to write for Beyonce ever. I've always been too nervous and too hesitant. How much I love her, idolize her, blah, blah, blah. Guess I'm in savage mode. So
I said that?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Delete my
sorry.
Twitter.
I'm sorry. Listen, nobody should dig up my 2018 anything, period. I don't want to know what I was doing, saying, looking like, whatever.
Yeah.
But what's going on with that?
You know what? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I wrote the song and hopefully the universe will make it happen at some point in time because I like the song.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear it. It's a dream collaboration for me.
Oh my God. I don't know. Like I think it would be different writing for her versus collaborating with her. That's a whole other level of I'm shocked.
Yes.
So I'm going to pass out.
I love when I see footage of her in the studio working.
Yes.
It's really inspiring.
She's a beast.
Yeah.
A machine.
Have you ever seen that TikTok? I think it's from a documentary where she is talking about writing Partition. Mm-mm. And she's like, I heard this beat and it reminded me of like E40 and like back and Too Short. And she's like, it reminded me of like the first days of dating Jay and like how sexy we would get.
Yes.
And she was like, I put on these things and then I just like let it out and it came out. And she was like, and then afterward I was so embarrassed, like immediately.
To play it for
Yeah, no, just that it had, she had done that, like gone into that mode in the studio. Mm-hmm. Does that happen to you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. You're like, yes, because it's like I'm talking about some really sexual things, but I'm working with friends and like my brothers, and they're hearing me say this, but I'm like, but it's how I feel, but also plug your ears. And I remember playing my song Moment for my mom, and one of the lyrics are, land it like a plane on my back if you can't hold it. And I was like, you're just like, cringy. But my mom's a cool mom, so she wasn't like, Victoria, how dare you delete
That's honestly a sick lyric.
Thank you.
I'm like, okay.
And my boyfriend did not follow instructions. I got pregnant. So
right. You're like, next time.
Listen to the
notes
song.
for next time. You're still with your boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
We're together. He's at home with Hazel right now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I have a really great support system. So to be able to do what I do and like take trips and promo and, just be away from home. So I feel more comfortable knowing that she's just safe and not with like,
Yes.
not that a nanny's bad, but like she's with her dad, her
It feels
family.
so different. It
Yeah.
feels so different anytime I leave my son with somebody that like I know loves him. My nanny is the best.
Yes.
She's incredible, but it just feels different. I'm like, that's your baby versus the baby that you take care of and you love,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah. So what's it like being booed up essentially and having this album? Was very different than when you wrote yours in the Jaguar 1 to Jaguar 2.
Yeah.
But you were saying that you're not talking about white picket fence, like home life.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
He's very supportive. He's open. Like even to the point of while pregnant, I did a Touch Me remix with Kehlani, and the song is about her.
Yes. I was going to ask that. Such a sexy song.
Yeah. And I was pregnant. We went in the studio. There was no jealousy. It was just like, I'm like, do you really love me? Because you're not jealous.
Right. You're like, I need a little bit of jealousy.
Argue with me. No, but
Listen,
he's
in some
great.
cultures, it's like you have to be jealous in order to show your love. So it
I've heard
depends who you talk
about
to.
these relationships.
Yeah. It depends
Some of
who
my
you talk
friends
to.
go.
You're like, what cultures? It's like my best friend. You're like, we don't have to go anywhere for that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yes.
That's cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
Are you and Kehlani still cool?
Yeah, friends.
Nice.
I kind of am like that with all of my past relationships.
Wow.
I really don't like the idea of like now someone's dead to me unless they did. I mean, some of my relationships ended where they did me wrong, for sure. But like, I don't know. I got over it, and I like to have that kind of an open connection, you know? Like I don't want to like kill somebody off and be like, I can't, there's a rule of me not to speak to them, because I feel like that takes even more energy to like try to avoid people and trying to hate them and, you know.
But how do you transition from like lover to friend? That's the hard part.
I think it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I have the personality where when I'm off it, I'm really like, it's almost like I can't remember the person I was when I was with you.
Right.
It's like, I don't know if that's normal.
I think that's probably healthy. I mean, that's good, right? You move on.
I don't know. Like, I wonder if
and it's not like you're like, I hate you. You're just like, I'm
so
on.
Cool. It's like so platonic, and like I can't even. I just don't identify as that person anymore. So I'm like off.
So asking for a friend. No, just kidding. It's actually for me. You just take some time, give it some space.
Yeah.
And then eventually you just say like, what's up? We can like get lunch or dinner or something.
I wouldn't go that
you
far.
have boundaries.
So like, I'm not going to go out of my way to like hang.
Right.
But it's just like, we can have the same friends and not be weird, or like when we see each other, it's like, don't go over there because this person I haven't spoken to is just like no tension.
You're friendly exes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you're like,
we're not kicking
chilling.
No pajama party.
I'm so shocked when people are like that. They're like, oh, we dated, but now I'm like, what? You guys have like yes.
What are y'all
I
really
always
doing?
feel like there's a story of like, do you have a pact or some shit?
Yeah.
Or like in
Blood
5
brothers.
years, you know what I mean? Like if you don't meet anybody else, you'll be back
You
together.
the backup plan. Yeah.
Like, do you get jealous when somebody else comes around?
Right. Yeah. All of those things are questionable.
I'm always curious. I'm like, is that real?
Yeah.
Can you tell me how your Buju Banton collab came together? Did you just slide into his DMs? I was impressed.
It's really not my style.
I know, but that's cool.
Yeah, I was very nervous, and I was at a bar when it happened. So I had some liquid courage.
And what, it just came up in conversation? You were like, fuck it?
Well, my manager was there.
Okay.
We were drinking together. She was like, just hit him. It doesn't hurt to ask. I was like, you know what? Tequila said, yeah, I should do this.
Oh, wow. A little liquid courage.
Yes. But when I went to, what actually also helped was when I went to his page to just DM, he already followed me. I was like,
oh, that's nice.
Oh, so maybe he likes something. You know, he's a fan of the music. Like, I don't know when he started following me. I was just surprised to see it. So I didn't have to send a request or anything, which is nice.
Which would have felt
Skip the
cheesier.
step.
Yeah.
And just waiting in the sidelines for him to accept the request and see it. Some people don't even know that category exists. Like T-Pain was like, I didn't know there was message requests.
What did you say in your DM and what did he respond?
I feel like it was probably something like, hey, I'm such a huge fan of yours. I don't know if you'd be open to it, but I just wanted to play you something and see if you're down to like throw a verse on it. I'm imagining, but if not, like totally respect, no worries. I probably try to put my tail between my legs afterwards. Cute. No problem, still love and hope you're well. see ya.
That was
And then,
cute.
like,
I'm like, I would respond to that DM.
yeah, so he was really nice, and he was like, "Sup, sis, much love." And then he gave me his WhatsApp. So he took the conversation off of Instagram, which is cool. I was like, okay, this is more personal. Actually, he gave me his number, and then I texted him. He didn't respond. And I was like, hey, texted you. And then he was like, oh, hit my WhatsApp. I'm like, oh, so this is where you be at.
Some like
He's
Euro
overseas.
shit.
Yeah, he's in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So he played me the verse for the first time over WhatsApp video.
Wow.
So he was like seeing my reaction live, and I was dying. I was in the middle of rehearsal when he called. So I was like a little bit rough around the edges, but answered it. And it was just so fire just to have that back and forth communication, and really amazing. We went to Jamaica to shoot the video too.
So fun. I love Jamaica.
The best. I'm moving.
You're like, after this album,
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. I feel you, honestly. I want to go back there so bad. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about one of the other singles off Jaguar 2, On My Mama.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many themes in there. Can you talk about those themes?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a strong believer in speaking things into existence, you know, manifesting things, like the power of the tongue, like just positive self-talk. So On My Mama has a little bit of that in there, but also doesn't feel, it's not in a preachy way, which I like. It's like, right, it draws the line right there. And I think even when people mindlessly sing it, I like that, even if they're not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna speak good about myself. Just singing the song can make people mood and frequency change because you're saying something positive. So I like that about it. The beat has like lots of 808, so it's fun to dance to. And there's a sample, so it's like kind of nostalgic for people who were around when the original came out. You know, not to tell people's age or whatever, but you know, if you know the original, you know. And some kids have never heard it, so I like that it brings kind of generations together too.
When you go to write a song like that, like, do you think like, this is what I want to do, I know, or does it come together piece by piece?
It's definitely a piece by piece thing. Speaking of postpartum, I wrote that song when I was going through postpartum.
Wow.
Which was like the opposite of how I felt. And so that song for me really genuinely was like, oh, listening to this makes me feel better. It was the first song I did after pregnancy that I liked after my little dry spell in the studio. I was like, do I have writer's block? And then On My Mama came, I was like,
you're like, nope,
no,
I'm back.
Here we go. So yeah, it's just like a really good turning point for me post pregnancy, and just a good energy. I'm feeling like a lot of people are picking it up as far as HBCUs, like horn players, like musicians. I'm waiting to see like a big band play it, like with majorettes, and like I want to see like in a college setting or football. Like when football season starts up, I just want to hear it at the games.
Oh,
like that.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I can't wait. I love that you have like places that you want it to be played.
That's where I want to experience it loud and just with all the energy there.
What can people expect from your tour, speaking of experiences and hearing things live?
Yes, I feel like it's going to be more dancing. I love dancing on stage, dance breaks, hair in the wind, not because of for any other reason, but it's hot. It's hot on stage.
Well, it gives you such presence too.
Yeah, it definitely adds an ambiance, but it literally saves my makeup and
we love that. Yes.
And I'm going to be doing songs from Jaguar 1 and 2. So it's kind of like touring both albums at the same time.
That's cool. Because you never got to tour the first album.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So I'm kind of making up for it. And I want to do another run. Like, it's not confirmed.
Okay.
But I do want to like just do it again.
Right.
Like, so, because a lot of people didn't get to get the tickets. And so I just kind of want to
do it again.
Yeah.
Give them
just
more opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel to kind of like be postpartum, I mean, you've come into your own identity in so many ways, not just because you had a baby, but also because you have your own music that you're putting out.
Yeah.
Is it emotional? Like, what does it feel like to be in this moment?
Very emotional.
Yeah.
Just speaking of motherhood again, it's like the main point of my life right now. But just having my daughter be able to watch me and understand what I'm doing now, sing the songs back, it's really, really cool.
That's so cute. Is she singing?
She's singing. She was just, I got a video today. Our dad sent me a video of her singing Lion King. She says hi to Tanya. It's beautiful.
He says Cootie Tada.
Cootie Tada. Oh,
obsessed.
It's so cute what they like interpret and like what clicks for them.
I actually showed him Crazy in Love, the video this morning.
Yes.
Because he's like, he watched the videos from the concert and he said like, more Beyonce. So it's like, okay, time for your education to start.
I love it. I love it. I have a Beyonce book. I got a Beyonce book from this Black bookstore in LA, and it says, I love Beyonce. And so I have this video of her like pretending she's reading it. And so she saw the cover and she's like, Beyonce. I'm like, yes, Beehive.
You're like,
early
that's
baby
right.
bee.
Yeah, you got to educate them. I want him to have good taste in music too. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's history, and also like I don't want his jams to be do-da-do-da-do. You know,
please.
Baby Shark, not that. Like my man needs to have more sophisticated taste.
Yes. Well, Sade is
pretty proud of that one.
He won.
It's so funny too because I think it's one of those things where he says it now people like give such a reaction. So he'll just be like, I love Sade.
Yes.
I'm like, that's right. Just keep it up. Making me look so good. Okay. So I do this like lightning round, like rapid fire, just random questions to end. Social media pet peeves.
I know this is like a toxic one, but if I texted you and then you're posting a couple times without texting me back, I'm like, come on, man. Look at me.
I don't think that's toxic.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do have to say that it kind of annoys me when people like have an expectation of responding right away
quickly
all the time. Because
yeah.
you know,
it's
as
impossible.
a mom too, like you can't. You literally look at your phone and then yeah.
Sometimes even if I see it, I forget to respond because someone asked me something. It's like, even if my read receipts are on and I read it, it's not that I just like ignored you. I'm like literally.
You have your read receipts on?
For some people, it's selective because I want people to know like, okay, I received it, even though some people like.
No, they don't get to know when I read their message. Yeah. I can't believe, I'm really, wow, good for you. Who makes you starstruck?
I think it would be Beyonce.
Yeah. Have you met her?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Rochelle, am I allowed to say? Potentially.
Potentially met her and you potentially were starstruck.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, I mean, she's talk about gracious.
Yeah.
I've met her twice. Solange introduced me once.
Wow.
And I was so unprepared.
It was a surprise meeting?
I mean, I was at the Met and I said hi to Solange because I've known her for a minute.
Yeah.
And we were chatting and I did not expect her to introduce me to her sister. Her sister was on the other side and she was like, have you met my sister? And my head was like, and it was right after Lemonade came out. So like, I was like on another place. She was my religion.
Yes.
So I said some stupid shit.
What's it look in the black? Was she wearing black?
Yes.
Sparkles? Yeah.
I think so. Actually, no, I don't think it was that one.
Oh.
It was maybe the year after. I think she had it's like a...
With the ponytail?
See-through, the damn ponytail.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
Any Beyonce you met is...
Oh, yeah. No, and then she said hi to me and my girlfriend at a party. Like, we'd been dancing next. No, this was like years later. And she was like,
I've heard that she remembers very well.
It was so nice. Wow. I was like, you don't have to say it. I was like, it's okay. I'm just standing 3 feet from you. Like, your presence is enough for me. Yeah. Okay. What would you title your life story? This one I wouldn't know the answer to, so.
My life story. I guess my first instinct would be like The Good Life. It was my ringtone for my wake-up alarm for a long time. Kanye, Good Life.
That's a great song.
So, The Good Life.
Okay, I like that. Do you have regrets? Like, if you had one, what would it be?
I think no. I think everything that I hated at the time led me to some things that I really like. So probably it was all necessary because, there's an infinite possibilities. And if you start going down to, the quantum field, you don't know where you would end up if you just didn't make some of those icky decisions. So I guess no regrets.
I feel the same way. I think that comes with like getting older and being a mom. You're like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
I'm at where I'm at.
What turns you on?
I think great. There's so many things, first of all. But first, when I first meet someone, I think like really great hygiene. Like,
that's not what I think. You're like, nobody who smells bad.
Please, nobody, just when you lift up your arms and hug me, please, like, smell well, nice breath, like, fresh smile, good eye contact, confidence. And also, I think seeing how you treat other people who can't help you is really a turn on. Like, if you're mean to a waitress or something, I'm like, ew.
Oh my God.
Like, instantly no.
Yeah.
So, like, just seeing how you navigate a room, I'm like, boss. Wow.
Yes.
Love that.
boss and also polite. And
smells well.
And smells okay.
Very nice.
All right. Well, everybody, if you get the chance to meet this woman, make sure you're smelling good. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so excited for you. I have to say, I got to listen to some of the album, and it's amazing.
Yes,
I feel like this is going to be a huge moment for you. So,
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in.